Hey folks! Now, at first, I wanted to spend this time showing you everything you could do with our new AI tools. But at Netlify, we wear a lot of hats. And as many of us were exploring our new features while our engineering team was rapidly building them, something interesting happened. The way that we were working changed, and almost overnight. So that's the story that I want you to hear, but not from me, from the folks that built these tools. You see, at first, agent runners gave us that aha moment like many of the other AI tools out there. So today, let's start with Vanessa, sharing her first moment of magic with agent runners.
When I tried to add a login to an app, since I don't have a technical background, I had never even attempted to do that before. So I just asked the agent to do it. But it did say, well, you need to enable this here and this there and Netlify. And then I went and did that, went back, and I had a login button and it worked. And I was like, oh my God.
And here's Taylor, sharing how she used agent runners to apply user feedback to our application.
One of the times that I've used agent runners is from seeing some user feedback on Twitter of how we were communicating something in the application itself. And that's not a code base that I'm like super familiar with. Instead of asking an engineer to go make the change, I actually prompted the agent runner to do it. I opened the PR. I shared that in an internal Slack channel of our front-end crew at Netlify, and someone reviewed it, and it got merged in.
The more we used agent runners, the more we found folks working on projects or in ways they couldn't previously, based on the access they had to the code. Let's hear from Garrig, who was able to do more to prep our website for this particular launch than he would have been able to do without agent runners.
So as we prepared for this product launch, instead of going through that typical, rigmarole process, I can just go in and add things like a redirect or even update kind of our navigation and things like that. Before agent runners, I think we would have had a ton more like coordination overhead and tickets with our web development team that would really lengthen like the cycles of launch.
And Vanessa, who saw engineers working to add code in ways that would have previously led to backlog tickets.
More backend engineers that don't usually touch, when they need something on the front end, on the app or the emails or like other, other services, they're like, oh, I can just self-serve, it's a lot easier to just jump and ask for an agent to do this change. And then, where before is like, it requires more coordination, even if it's small things, right? Here it's just like, hey, this is what I need, here's a PR. And so it's about like being a little bit more effective.
Agent Runners has so much power and potential because it enables anyone to contribute content or code to any project, and to do so in an asynchronous manner that teams can bend to their own workflows. But what adds to this is the unique and secure context the agent has to a site running in production. Here's how Dom thinks about the interaction between the layers of context in a project making use of agent runners.
Where runners really kind of aha momented for me is like, my models in the IDE only know what the web can give it, whereas runners know deeply the core of the platform and are only going to get more educated as time goes on, which is really exciting. In runners, you'll see there's also a context window beneath the runner itself. And so you can keep long-lasting context for your runners to look back on and make decisions. It now has the context of that. It has the context of your inspirations or context window, and it has the context of Netlify now. And so like you kind of have this like really embedded knowledge space for these models that you'll be working with to work off. And they're the same models that you use inside of your IDE. So you get to kind of pick and choose like which ones you feel are going to be best for the job. And now it feels as prepared as it can be.
Okay, so everything we've heard so far is already incredible to me. But the absolutely wild part of this story begins when we started using agent runners to build agent runners. Here's Sean Roberts to add a little color.
So when we're developing under a tight timeline, right, you have to be very judicious about what things make it into the product and what don't. And in that crunch, you're sacrificing all the nice to haves. Right. But with agent runners, we're able to take a prompt, set it to task about, trying to build out a feature or experiment. And it doesn't cost us any extra time. It doesn't delay our launch. And we can decide whether or not we want to incorporate it or not. It was an order of magnitude faster for us to ship these types of features under a tight deadline without risking the deadline itself.
Just listen to this story. Our head of product contributed a key component that may have otherwise led to frustration for early adopters.
While we're building the agent runners feature, as we're testing it out, one very simple instance was I wanted to cancel a task. One of the runs, I kind of made a mistake and I wanted to stop it. I clicked the button and it just stopped the run, which was nice because I was kind of sure that that run would stop. But immediately I was like, wait a second, this can actually happen, mid a very long run, and I might hit it by mistake. What if I want to be sure that I'm canceling something that might have cost me a lot of, inference so far. So I figured, hey, let's just put an "Are you sure?" message in there. And I opened a task, essentially opened an agent run and gave it that task. I was like, hey, listen, when you click cancel task, just use our standard "Are you sure?" dialogue and bring that up, right? And within minutes, that was built.
So look, we're now forever changed. There's just no going back. But what I'm most excited about is how it raises the bar on the detail that we can bring to products without sacrificing additional engineering time. Here are Taylor and Vanessa on addressing the little things.
Often it's like little paper cut type changes, and they just get deprioritized because of that, because there's bigger issues to work on. And so it's only at the mercy of if someone has a few minutes and that just happens to be the one. If it wasn't me doing it, it would just sit there.
I think the kind of things that I'm seeing it more helpful with are UI, UX polish type of thing that we wouldn't have time for. And this way, because the PR is already there and it's so easy to review and merge, we're just including these little details. And it does, overall, it adds up and improves the quality of the MVP.
And I couldn't leave out my favorite quote from all of these conversations.
I can't do my work anymore without agent runners.
So it's time to look ahead. And that's how I ended all of these conversations, by asking folks what they were most excited about. And here's Dan's answer.
I've seen a lot of interesting use cases. I think one of the things that is really exciting is to start seeing people that include AI in their application and in their website.
This is now possible because of our other new AI workflow feature, AI Gateway. Here's Alad with a great explanation on how AI Gateway works.
Any kind of compute that you run on Netlify, or even if you run stuff locally with the Netlify CLI, it's going to inject basically all the relevant environment variables for all the major AI providers without needing to open an account, fill up your credit balance, make sure that you have enough credits. It's fun. It kind of brings back some of the fun that, get lost if you have to think about accounts and credit balances and keys with all these providers. You can use it without thinking about it. Just deploy a project to Netlify and start using AI providers.
To put that fun to the test, Alad and an engineer built out a little demo that we call Triple Buzzer, where AI agents compete in a totally unique trivia game.
I actually created this question based on Game of Thrones, and I said, so the answer is this TV character knows nothing. And I was thinking about Jon Snow from Game of Thrones, for example. So not all the models agree on that. So here it says Forrest Gump, which I disagree with, and sometimes it has completely different, who is Ned Flanders from The Simpsons, who is Joey Tribbiani from Friends. They will come up with all these things, and I think it's also very educational. So it's fun. It shows you how to use models, and it shows some of these differences that you get with different providers, and then different tiers or different models within each provider.
You can check out that demo at triple-buzzer.netlify.app. And I wanted you to know how this works. We don't have enough time to dig deep, but I wanted to share at least the crux of what makes AI Gateway magical.
We're initializing the OpenAI SDK with no parameters, no API key, no base URL, no nothing. We're just initializing this object. It's going to pick up the right environment variable that are already injected, whether you deploy to Netlify or you're using the Netlify CLI. It's just going to be there.
No environment variables, no accounts, it just works. Well, folks, that's it for me. This was a quick look at our new features, and I'm super excited to see the wild and crazy things that you discover. We're here to help and inspire, so give us a shout. And don't forget, have a little fun along the way. And now, I'm out of hats.